Yeah. You know what it is. It's another episode of Random Wisdom. I am back. I'm your gracious host, Ashton, Toon, some may call me, whatever you call me. We back. This another episode of Random Wisdom. I like to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I always start the show and say, if you're just starting your day, I hope you have a great day. If you're just ending your day, I hope you had a great day. You feel me? Today a off day for me. So I'm chilling in here, drinking some wine, searching for shit on YouTube, you know. Just enjoying my off day, you know what I'm saying? Just feeling good. My wife is my fiance. I'm getting it down pat, y'all. A couple episodes I still say my girlfriend, but I say my wife today, you heard? So I think that's better. Cool. I'm gonna just stick with that instead of saying fiance, my wife. My wife is out right now, tending to some errands and things, so I'm at the crib by myself, once again confused on how I should live my life. What should I do? But I know I had to record an episode of Random Wisdom today, so that's what I'm gonna do. Man, I just been enjoying life lately, soul searching, trying to figure out what's my next step. Trying to figure out, what could I do to be greater, you know, um, on this journey. Also, just trying to figure out, when it's time to let things go, when to let people go, and most importantly, when it's time for me to move on to the next journey. Um, I've been working on a new album that I'm pretty excited about. Artists always say, this my best project, but nah, seriously, this is my best project. And I'm super excited about it. It's very detailing of my life and current circumstances that I'm in. It's a lot of wisdom. It's a lot of good music on there. And a diverse set of music that I've been working on. So I can't wait to let everybody hear it. I'm super excited. And yeah, we gonna keep dishing out this random wisdom because I see that y'all enjoying it, man, and y'all picking up on what I'm throwing down. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing to know that y'all in tune with, the show. Being that too, I don't have no video for this, so obviously my voice is decent enough for y'all to actually listen to. You know what I'm saying? But we are working on video. I have a few things lined up that I'm gonna start doing. And we gonna get them videos cracking real soon. So I'm super excited about that. I can't wait for y'all to just yeah, be able to indulge in that with me. I think we gonna have a fun time when I start doing videos. So yeah, man. Today's show is gonna be pretty interesting. Um, it's gonna be quite entertaining, funny, um, knowledgeable. Uh, and I'm gonna break down a few things for y'all. So today's show is gonna be about my experience in corporate America, um, particularly in the timeshare world. Um, so in 2022, friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name. Well, I guess maybe I could, cause some of these characters I'm gonna change their name, but people who are personal friends of mine, I guess they don't really mind. Fuck it, it's nothing bad about them. We all went through this fucking experience together. So, friend of mine, Ed Nix, he's an artist from Louisiana, New Orleans, 7 Ward to be exact, and he'll let you know that every time. The 7, But yeah, he introduced me to the timeshare world in 2022. I had just got fired from a job, a warehouse job, telling the white man he a bitch ass nigga, and I slapped the shit out him and his kids. The kids had nothing to do with the situation. I just wanted them to know I'm one nigga that you don't play with. I slap your whole family, nigga. Outside of that, yeah, so got fired from that job from some bullshit. And in that process of waiting, um, I would go to the studio with Nix. I watched them record a podcast, or we would record some music. Um, and yeah, I would just you know, be asking different questions. He'd tell me where he was working at, tell me that he was in the timeshare world, told me the different intricacies of it, but I wasn't ready at a point. He had told me way before I got fired, but once I got fired, I asked him about that opportunity, and he was able to pull me in and get me into my first job in corporate America, which was some of the most interesting shit that I could ever go through. So I started that in like November 2022. Um, Went through like a 2 week training, had to be there at 7:30 every fucking day. If you was there at 7:30, one day was firing your ass. Um, yeah, and it was a super interesting experience. Um, I was there with one of the other homies, named Venom. He was there. We was all in the training together. We had this trainer, cat from St. Louis. Um, he was a pretty cool dude. And at the time, it didn't make sense to me at during the training, but at the time, um, we were going through the training and shit, and I realized that it's a lot of people that kind of pass for white around here, but didn't really dawn on me until like in the middle of, well, I would say in the thick of shit when I actually surpassed the training, started working. But the training pretty interesting. You spent this time in training, pretty much learning the script, learning how to sell to people, learning how to find people's DBM. And I want to say that's for a direct buying motive. So basically, the training was to get you to understand how to play psychological games on the person that you're selling to. Everyone could be sold to. You just have to figure out how to sell them whatever it is that you're selling. So yeah, so we spent the training figuring out people's DBMs, figuring out how could we sell this person this particular product. So you had to learn behaviors. We did a lot of role playing, but everything was based around this script. So it was like I want to say like a 20-step script where it was the greeting, where you basically it tells you how to greet the person. It was an overview. The overview, you kind of getting to know the person, taking some time out to get to know who they is. You tell them who you is. Had to put like a competency, where you share some more information with them about the company as well as yourself. And you had these key points that you had to hit on throughout the script, basically. So we would learn this script, and then you had to write out, the different parts, learn it verbatim, but also be able to be yourself while learning the script. And it was pretty interesting to me. It was easy, like learning scripts and shit. I'm an artist, so I write music. So I really have to learn scripts, every single time I'm writing a song or making a song. So that part was easy. The part for me was the psychological warfare that you had to play on a particular person. And you had to figure out how to be yourself, but also dive deep into these people's buying motives. So training ended, we passed training. And I'm gonna get back to my trainer, because he plays an interesting part in this whole shit. So we get through the training after the 2 weeks, and we hit the floor. All right. So this is how timeshare works. And I'll explain to you what timeshare actually is. So timeshare is basically where, let's say you're a person, you want to take vacations. It's set up to where you can buy a timeshare and you have access to different places around the world. So they say that you can vacation at off of points. Now, some people in timeshare they have points, and some people have a particular time of the year that they could go to a particular place that they bought. Um, there's like monthly fees, there's a total cost, and then there's like maintenance fees, which is the killer of timeshare pretty much, which makes it where you actually pay for this shit for the rest of your life, even if you decide not to take a vacation. But for the most part, that's how it works. So we sold points. So they had different points packages. Our main point package was 200,000 points. That's what we basically sell. There was 200,000 points, 150, 100. Um, then it would go down to 50. Then from 50 was 30. But you always wanted to do your best to sell 200,000 points. 200,000 points was the creme de la creme of what they were trying to sell. So you would basically get you a tour. These people would come through IHG, which stands for International Hotel Group, I believe, some shit like that. But they were all ushered in through IHG. They would sign up. They would get basically like a package. And through that package, what they would do is have a chance to go to a particular place. So whether that place be New Orleans, Las Vegas, Branson, Missouri, probably somewhere in Florida, some shit like that. But I was at the New Orleans location, so everybody wanted to come here. They wanted to experience Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, and they would get these packages and basically you know, come down for whatever particular holiday it was, and they just come here for free. So what happens is they pay for the package. Some way there is promoted to them. So whether it's via the place's website or it's you know, through a phone call. They were doing a booking and they asked them at the end, do you want to do a survey? And then that's how, they wind up getting booked for the vacation. So some people accept it. They give their credit card information and blah, 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 blah. Then they book the place, then they come down to New Orleans and, you know, they get on their vacation. So when they come on their vacation, they have to do a timeshare presentation to get their money back. So the timeshare presentation would be for about 2 hours long. Sometimes they extend it over that, and some people would definitely tell you about it if your time extended over that. And some people would just be cool with it. Like you'll meet some cool ass people, which I did in the industry as well. But for the most part, you take them on a 2 hour tour. So for about let's say 30 to close to 45 minutes, you sitting there talking to them, pretty much getting to know them, asking questions, and in this thing that they call a discovery. So we would have a laptop, well, basically a tablet, and we just ask people questions off of the tablet. How much do you vacation? Who do you vacation with? What are the most important things in your life right now? All things, like I said, that like they did in training to figure out what's a person's direct buying motive. Um, and we would ask these questions, then we would take the people into a film. After you came out of the film, we went into a room which was called the dream room. Well, basically, this room sells them the dream. And honestly, that room should have been called the dream room because it really sells them a dream. Some people didn't really fuck with the dream, but some people is there just to get their bread and dip, and I respected it. It's a hustle. After you take them out of the dream room, you come back, you go over a few other things, hit a few other cue points. Then you're taking those people up to a room. And you're basically showing them, well, basically you lying to them, telling them this what they have the ability to stay in. But most people would never get to a chance to stay in that style of a room because they never had the points. They never had enough points to go into that desired space. So after you would take them out the room, then that's when you would discuss the price with them. So like I said, they started at 200,000 points. So your whole time you're selling 200,000 points, right? You're selling 200,000 points. Now, what you selling 200,000 points through the tour, if you're savvy enough, you're gonna realize that maybe the person that you're talking to, they may need 200,000 points, or they may not need 200,000 points. And you may figure out that some people may need actually more than 200,000 points. It's been those cases as well. So through that process, after you sit back down with them, you're pretty much trying to see which of the packages work for them. So like I said earlier, they had 200,000 points, 100,000 points, 50,000 points, and the lowest was 30,000 points. So 200,000 points sold for $40,000. And they set this shit up to where like it basically make you feel like you're getting a discount. So the initial price is $50,000. That's what it's initially shown. But we were telling by you being here today on this package through IHG, you get a discount that's only for you. So what we do is we take 20% off of that and we give it to you for $40,000. Some people will be like, "Ooh, that's a big number," right? But if you think about what most people are going to spend on over time on vacation, some of them may reach that number, right? So let's say they did say that's a big number. Woo, 40,000, that's big. What we would do is kind of say, well, look, I understand that, most people can't afford $40,000 worth of vacations. But by me listening to you through this tour, I've realized that 200,000 points may not, be what's desired for you. So they ask, do they have more packages? And they had this thing where you basically couldn't elude to there's less than 200,000 points. You want to sell them enough on 200,000 points. So when they get down to the other numbers, it's like, ooh, oh yeah, this is not expensive at all. Like, oh yeah, and I can still do the desired vacations I want to do. So they will basically tell you don't elude to the drop. But I used to fuck eluding to it. I'm selling this shit like, okay, nigga, I know you can't afford 200,000 points. You already told me what your budget was in the beginning of this tour before we went and seen the video. And which in this video, they show you a fucking dream world, Disney World, people with the family. And this shit was like, the video that they would show you, like the shit was corny. Like it's so fucking corny. Like they selling to a demographic that don't buy shit no more. Like it's like people who were born in the 60s on the video. Like it's no young niggas on the video. Like ain't nobody in Turks. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no fucking ass shaking, ass clapping, none of that type of shit. It's all some family type of shit. And they didn't have a lot of representation in there either for all types of ethnic groups. It wasn't that many blacks, wasn't Asians. All they really showed is like whites and some blacks, but mostly whites, because they were trying to sell a dream of, white people having this utopia of vacations and shit like that, right? So, but yeah, we would show the video and shit. But as we would sit down and talk to them, you would kind of reference, man, them families that you seen in the video, man, that could be you. That could be you and your daughter, and they always wanted you to remember names and shit. So you would have to take notes and shit. So if their daughter name was Kayla, you like, I know you. Do you want Kayla to not be able to take vacations when she gets older? Would you not want your son James to be able to take that good vacation when he get older? It depends on you. So you at the end of this, you kind of like breaking this shit down and seeing what they could afford. And this when you will see the real person come out through the tour. They were kind of, you know, I guess they use the word fluff. They like, yeah, I like this shit. Yeah, 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 man. Oh man, this is beautiful. Yeah. I'm oh for sure, man. I can't wait to blase, 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 blah. And you get to the end of that shit and they like, man, I don't want this shit. I'm good. My time is up. They looking at their watch. They like, you got like 30 minutes left. It like weird, rude shit like that. You had to go through a lot of rude shit, right? So you would sell these people the packages, and or you would try to sell them the package. Some people would buy, some people didn't. Um, but you would do your best to get all the family involved, make it very personable to them, and pretty much sell them the package off of that. So if they couldn't afford the 200,000, what we'll do, we write up on a tablet, and we would pretty much just go into after that. We would tell a person, look, hey, um, I know you can't afford the 200,000, but I do want to ask you if I can get you to something that's affordable for you today. Am I looking at my newest owner today? If you sold a person enough on this bullshit, in which they had like different vacation spots. They had like RCI. They had their group of different hotels, which they claim were all 5-star locations. And that's what you would mostly use, just RCI to show them vacations. They had over like I want to say 10,000 places to go to. So they claim. A lot of people who had used RCI said that's a lie. A lot of the points that it would cost, you wouldn't be able to go to none of those places based off of the points that they had, because it will cost more than you actually even had in points. But we had ways that we would sell it to, like we would press certain buttons and show people certain things where it would benefit them. So they had like a 20,000 points section, right? You could go anywhere in the Bahamas for less than 20,000 points, but that's only at certain times of the year. But the way the computer had it set up to where when you press the 20,000 points, it basically shows it as if, you know, you can go there anytime you want, right? Um, and we would pretty much ask the person, so look, if you can't do the 20,000, what would work for you today? And they were like, I don't know. So we'll just be like, sit tight. If y'all want to talk about it, talk about it. I'm gonna go talk with my manager and I'm gonna see if it's anything that we could do to get your foot inside the door. Um, and I will go talk to the manager, which I'm gonna refer to as Chameleonaire. Now, this is the part where where I'm going to get into some people, right? So when I want y'all to remember these characters in the story. Now my friend, cousin, I mostly call him my cousin, but like who introduced me to the timeshare world, um, him and Chameleonaire were good friends. Not the rapper Chameleonaire. I'm just using this for the sake of not saying a person's name. But my cousin and Chameleonaire, they were friends prior to him working at the particular timeshare place that we were working at. Um, and Chameleonaire, the reason why I called him, I couldn't think of another name to call him, but I'm gonna call him Chameleonaire. The reason why I call him Chameleonaire because he was a Palestinian guy who always said he's a chameleon. he wanted to adopt black aesthetics. You know, like everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga, and he was one of those types, right? Right before I left, that's when Israel and Palestine broke out into, they engaged in the war that they have going on now. God bless all the Palestinians except him, because he was a fucking buster. Um, but he tried to basically relate to black people in different ways, like, and it was just so lame. Like, he was one of those people, like, he grew up in the city of New Orleans, so he felt as if, well, I grew up around a ton of black people. This makes me like half black. And it's like, no, nigga, you Palestinian. But he was only black he would only try to uh, relate to black people, um, you know, in ways that were like cultural. Um, he even named this kid after a black rapper, which I found to be fucking weird. But yeah, he used to always say he was a chameleon. He can adapt to any circumstance or any people, which I think is fucking weird. Like, I only want to be black. I don't want to be a fucking chameleon. I don't want to be able to sit with white people and be able to fucking adapt to their world. Nah, like, I want to be fucking black. Um and So he was the manager. We would have to call him. He would come his bitch ass to the table. And as y'all can still see, I kind of still got some tightness of no Diddy about this shit, man, because these people was fucked up. And when I get to the people, y'all gonna understand how fucked up this world really was. But we would get to the table, and he would basically break down the numbers. When I would talk to him, he would ask me, "So what you got?" I'm like, "Well, they saying they can't do the 200,000 points. They can only do such and such and such and such a year." He was like, "Did you let them know that they have any other packages?" I'm like, "No." I will already, if I let a person know that they had other packages, I tell them at the table, "Look, my manager, he gonna come over here and do some fucking act like he doing some trickery." You hear me? But don't. And I used to talk just like this, like just like how I'm talking right now. This is how I used to talk. Like, fuck a corporate verse, fuck code switching, and I ain't do none of that shit, man. All that shit goofy to me. I'm about to talk to you just how I talk. If I was talking to a 80-year-old white woman or a 25-year-old black man, I'm talking to them the same. I'm gonna just use different terms where they can understand it on their desired level. So I would tell them, he gonna ask y'all, what y'all could do, but act like y'all don't know, you know, that there's more packages, right? So he come down there, break the numbers down. Some people be like, "Yep, that's the one I want," or some people they have to negotiate and talk about it. Sometimes they said no, and then sometimes some people did the deal, right? But that was pretty much how that part of it went. That part is not the part that I want to go into detail about um so much, because to me that was just the job. Um they had a timeshare world that I was like, wow, this is the timeshare world. So we're going to get to some of the characters that they had up in here. So like I told y'all, the manager, I call him Chameleonaire. He was just, a manager. What he would do, he would come to the tables, um, basically, it was called a TO. So basically what he do is turn over your table. And basically he would kind of put a little fight in to get a sale as well. Sometimes he didn't put a little fight in. Sometimes he act like a bitch and didn't want to do his job. But um, yeah. So he was just a weird motherfucker to me. He wanted to relate to black people so bad. Um, but also he wanted to relate to white people so bad. That's why he called himself a chameleon. And when I left, I finally started to think about all this types of shit. Like, I started to analyze and do some inventory on, the circumstances, so my mindset not be stuck in that place and I don't grow. So I had to do some self inventory, but as well, just look at the people who I had encountered, right? He had a very negative outlook on just being a manager. Um, he would basically try to turn the workers against each other in certain ways. And it was very foolish to do because you want everybody to have some camaraderie at work. Um, the bitch ass nigga would what he would do, he would buy like food for us in the morning. We had meetings on Friday. Like we had to be at that motherfucker on Fridays for like 8:30. And he get up bitching early in the morning. Um, he would just get up and just be bitching about some dumb shit, right? Just about some shit that just it's like, man, shut the fuck up. Like you woke up at 7:30 this morning thinking about some old hoe ass shit like this. Um, but yeah, overall he was just pussy. Like I just didn't really fuck with him. Specifically off the fact that he said he a fucking chameleon. That shit bothered me. Like that shit bothered me because that means you code switch for both sides. They would have different people that come up in there, right? Let's say you got a dude from Brooklyn, and this is actually true. You got a dude from Brooklyn. No, let's say Jersey. I think that's where this guy from. He was from New Jersey. Like, I want to say like Patterson or some shit like that. I think that's what it was. He was from Patterson. He wasn't my tour, but he was a friend of mine tour. And he was like, yeah, he got on some Yeezys. He gonna automatically buy this shit. Now, I'm gonna tell you, he wasn't wrong. The guy actually did buy it, but he fuck around and canceled it later. But they would basically stereotype you off of your aesthetics. Um, and for you to get a tour, they had this thing called the wheel. So what the wheel was is basically some bullshit. The wheel basically picked, let's say you had a hot hand that week and you selling everybody. The wheel is gonna say you gotta get this tour. This person is a high platinum member. And of their high platinum member of IHG. So you got the hot hand. You should be able to sell to these people this week. And if you didn't have a hot hand, you'd probably get a mediocre tour or a fucking trash tour where somebody who just uh they don't have no money, they like ignorant, they like poor, it was just all types of weird shit, but the will is what gave you your tour. And we knew that the will was fucked up because we would see the same people get the same types of deals. And then some people wouldn't get a desired deal, right? It was it was a corrupted game that they were playing for them to make money. So they felt like certain people, if you were cool with the person, you could really move your way up the wheel. Like I never really hung out with nobody from the job except my friends. Um, so I wasn't in the inside game and never wanted to be, right? So it was a strategic thing that they used to do with the wheel where they would just basically give the tours to the people that they wanted to. They even had the power to switch a tour. And we figured this out because one person would get certain types of tours. Like they had something called latitudes. So that's if you did a tour with someone, let's say last year, and you decided not to buy the actual package, someone comes to the table after me and they sell you something smaller, like a trial package that you pretty much could just try out. But once you try that package out, you'd have to come back on another presentation and do another tour. So you'll come, you do the tour, and basically you're assigned a person. But they had this one guy who I'm gonna call MC Search. MC Search MC Search, he was pretty cool. Me and him had a good um chemistry with each other, I would say. No Diddy. He was a real cool guy, but he just threw me off too. He was a guy that actually passed for white as well. He was actually a guy that passed for white as well, but he loved hip hop. He was black. I'm pretty sure he had white parents or something. He had some white in his blood. But yeah, like he was a dude who liked to skateboard, and the nigga loved hip hop. But like the first week of me meeting him, this shit threw me off about the nigga. Is me, my cousin Nix, the other homie Nim, and a few other black people. We're sitting inside the break room, and he just started talking, right? But the nigga just busts out freestyling. And I'm like, look at this fucking jigaboo ass shit. Like, would he just assume that we just make music? I mean, we did. Like, we do. We still do make music, but we didn't tell him that. This motherfucker just started freestyling like a yes, yes, y'all, 1 to the 2 to the 3. My name is MC Search, and I came. And I'm like, what the fuck? Again, his name not MC Search. That's what I'm gonna call him, because he started freestyling the day I fucking met him. Like, he was super hip hop. He would go to all the hip hop concerts in the city, um, like the Far Side. They'll come down or some shit. Any other hip hop groups, Most Def and Talib Kweli, Black Star. Like, he go to those types of concerts. And he was just a timeshare fraud. Like, and the thing in timeshare, when you meet people that's in the business, you gotta basically be aware that they manipulate people on a daily basis. They manipulate people on a daily basis. So you have to be aware that when you're talking to them, you can be manipulated if you're not aware. So you had to be aware of the things that they would say, do, or even that they would say they're into, because it was all bait to manipulate you to maybe say something about your life, to get to kind of know your life. It was all like a fucking game they used to play, right? But this particular guy, MC Search, he would get a tour for the Latitudes people. So that's how we knew that they were manipulating the will. And the will, again, was basically tells you what tours you will get. And they didn't nobody that was basically like I forgot that was on the elite team. We was basically called Team Elite. Nobody could go in the wheel room. Like, we couldn't see the wheel. Like, they didn't want us to know how the wheel worked. You can ask questions about the wheel. Right there, that's a fucking red flag to me. So why can't I know how this works? But he would get the same type of fucking tours. So we like, if a person could get the same type of tours, that means y'all can actually delegate who actually gets what type of tour. And that's just regular science, right? That's like black math. Like, we 2 + 2 = 4. Like, duh, you know? And we would see that shit and we were like, man, like, this shit rigged up. So we would see that type of shit happen, and we just had questions about what was going on and how this shit used to work. So we had strategy, right? If you know, to say we got tours at 9:00, some people got tours at 9:30. If they didn't have enough for tours, you would get a tour at 11:00. But if you got a suck ass tour at 9:30, 9:00, you trying your best to get that tour over as fast as possible, and you want to get on to the next tour, because if you get this tour over fast as possible, basically what you do is manipulate the will, so you can actually have a chance to get a person who wants to buy instead of a person who doesn't. So you had the chance to manipulate the will. So we would all gather, talk shit. We would have time where we had downtime, and we'll go on my cousin's rooftop and just start smoking. Like, we'll smoke. We used to come there smelling like a ton of weed and cologne. You know what I'm saying? We'd just come there smelling like weed and cologne. There'd been times that we'd come there and like they know we were smoking, but you'll smell it throughout the fucking job. And it's like you really needed the shit though. Like you really needed to get high. And speaking of getting high, it was a lot of getting high, but like we just did weed. And occasionally I microdose some shrooms there while I was there because I just needed the shit. It was an environment full of fucking weirdos. And when I say weirdos, I mean like straight weirdos. Like they don't fit in the regular world. Like their world that they exist in is only the corporate timeshare world. Their friends are all in timeshare. Their life revolves around timeshare. So they have no sense of outside identity outside of the timeshare world. So they were a bunch of fucking weirdos. Um, One of the weirdos, and she was a nice weirdo. I never really had a problem with her. I ain't never really have a problem with nobody. Nobody ain't really addressed me like that or on no funny shit. Cause I really didn't really talk to anybody like that. I would talk sometime, but for the most part, I would just observe these motherfuckers and just, just watch them be fucking idiots. Like just watch them be weirdos. So they had this one motherfucker. She was the director of this shit. I'ma call her England. Um, I'm gonna call her England because she was from England. She was cool. She had a real raspy voice. She like, hey, good morning. She used to talk like that and shit. She had like a real deep cigarette voice. She was from England, but she came down to like Florida or some shit like that when she was. I don't give a fuck. I'm just not gonna say their names because I don't want to expose these people's names. But if they ever hear this and they hear this story, eat a dick. I don't care. Come see me. But yeah, she came out from Florida. Legend has it, allegedly, she was trafficked here. And basically she stayed with her trafficker for a while, and she basically got out of that situation in Florida, and then she got into the timeshare world, and then she wound up moving to New Orleans. But she was a cokehead. She would come to work on coke. She would come to work on coke. There was another guy. He used to work on Bourbon Street. For the sake of the story, I'm gonna call him Young Bourbon Street. He was a white boy, tall white boy. He was fucked up. He still had the aromas of Bourbon Street on him. Like I could tell, like he used to work in the clubs on Bourbon Street, trying to get people's in the club. Like the people put, hey, come in the club, man, come in. He was one of them type motherfuckers. That was his actual job too. Like he used to pull people in, and she met him on Bourbon Street and got him a job. This motherfucker in there making 80,000. This motherfucker in there got new teeth. He wearing suits. He acting like he the fucking man in there and shit. And it's like, nigga, you still got the Bourbon Street aroma on you. Like everybody here know you not qualified for the job. Like everybody, even the people in the high places that will come in, they're like, this motherfucker not qualified. Like he was on coke. He made a remark one day, and he like, yeah, I don't do cocaine. I just like the way it smell. And we like, what the fuck? Yeah. So like it was shit like that, but like these motherfuckers would be coked up, right? And then they had a lady. She was an actor. She's been in a few movies and shit. So for the sake of this story, I'm gonna call her Oscar. I don't think she was an award-winning actor, but I mean, she probably had aspirations of winning an Oscar. And she would play in movies, and it would be her fucking name, like it was her actual name, or like an offspring of her actual name. She was cool, but she was shiesty as well. She never really came off as like racist or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the things that she would say or do had racist intent behind it. She just never disrespected in your face. But she had a great spirit, but she did coke too. She would always come, like the white women that you see on like TV that be in corporate America. That's how she would dress. With pencil skirts, blouses, red lipstick, hair pulled back. You know how goofy ass white women be dressing and shit like that. So that's how she would dress. But she was cool, but she was on that coke too. She actually lived in a building, same building as my cousin lived in. Um, and she would get great tours as well because she was a friend of the other cokehead, England. So her and England were buddy buddy, but her and England will also compete with each other in different ways. So right before I left there, England bought a house, and then she wound up buying a house as well. So they would always try to compete with each other. It's crazy that somebody would try to buy a house in Louisiana at this particular time where insurance rates are out of control. The property is overpriced, especially for the environments that they're in. But they would try to compete with each other. So everything that one did, the other would try to do one up on them. And you could pretty much tell. And Oscar thought that she could take England's job, and she said it a whole bunch of times at the job. She was like, I could take her position. They really used to compete with each other, and it was crazy. But yeah, Oscar would get the best tours, and Oscar, she was fake as fuck at her tables. Like she was an actor, so she would really go into just acting. I'm not sure why she not still in Hollywood. But I think she probably could be a phenomenal actor in a Tyler Perry movie. Like she could win an Oscar in a Tyler Perry movie. But I don't really think that she was that great of an actor, so she came into the timeshare world. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna have to go check out some of her movies too. I'm gonna have to go check out some of her movies. I never really watched the shit because I never really cared about these people's lives like that. But yeah, so she would get some of the best tours as well because she was just fucking acting. Like she know how to put on a fucking show for the people and just um she had very strong features too. Everybody would question her gender. She was female, or woman, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of people would question her gender. But outside of that, she was a decent person. But just you'd watch her and England would try to compete with each other on different bases. Um it was a ton of different moving parts in here, and this is gonna be a part one because I want to share a lot of these stories with y'all about timeshares. So many. I'm gonna try to get through all the characters today, so y'all could kind of have an idea who they are and who these people are once we get into the part two. But after that, we had this other guy who was a straight fucking Uncle Tom. I'm gonna call him Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus was a black man from Georgia. Um, I believe that he might have had some criminal run-ins in his early years, and which moved him out to New Orleans. Um, and he used to always be concerned about why I don't talk. Really, because I figured, I don't have much in common with the people here. I'm just here trying to do a job, trying to get this money, um, so I could, do for my situation. You feel me? So he would just be like a fucking Uncle Tom. Like we would all be in the break room. We would have conversations, right? He would engage in the conversations. And some of the conversations may be about the manager, Chameleonaire. So let's say we have, because we were off on Tuesday and Thursday. So let's say on Tuesday, you know, we be talking in the break room, just talking some shit, right? Talking about all types of shit. We'd come back on Friday for the morning meeting, And it's brought to our attention that somebody said that we were talking about Chameleon there. And we know this motherfucker Uncle Ruckus is the only motherfucker in there that would have something to fucking say. Um we knew he would be the only motherfucker in there that would have something to say. So when we get back to work and and Chameleon are like, yeah, so there's people in the break room talking about me while I'm not there. Here's the floor. You can say whatever you want to say about me right now. And we knew Uncle Ruckus told him. Uncle Ruckus he used to bitch about some of the dumbest shit. He was like a 60-year-old man that he was he was a fucking creep. He would basically sexually harass women. I mean, look at him in the strange ways. He would make strange remarks to women. Like those old jokes. Um, he say shit like, "You thicker than a swamp possum with the mumps," or some bullshit. Oh man. Yeah, he'll say some shit like that. Like, you thicker than a swamp possum with the mumps. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? But he was a fucking creep though, man. Like, he was just so fucking weird and creepy and like just jigabooing every fucking day. Like, he was just a fucking weirdo, man. Like, a lot of these people were so fucking weird. But one thing about him, he had this fucking fire-ass BMW, a red candy colored BMW with some gold Dayton's on there. Like, that motherfucker was clean. I can't front. He did that shit. But outside of that, the motherfucker was just a weirdo. Like, he would come every morning and just wake up on some bullshit. I never forget one morning um we was coming, we was getting on an elevator to go up to the floor that we worked on or whatever. And he was like, what's up, Ash, man? You back in this motherfucker again, huh, bro? Another day. Gotta deal with this bullshit. And I was like, nah, man, I'm positive today, man. We ain't gonna have to deal with no bullshit. It's gonna be all good today. And that fucked him up because he used to people just engaging in the negativity. And I'm like, nah, like, man, I'm feeling good. I'm gonna have a good day today, man. And he just stopped talking to me. Like, he got off the elevator and went about his business. Like, fuck, I don't know what he said in his head about me or what, but like, he just walked off after that. So he was a very negative black man. He had sons who he was raising too, and he would tell us he would pretty much raising them to be Uncle Ruckus type niggas as well. He was one of those black men that landed on a job that made him $100,000 a year, and he pretty much settled for that. He like, to keep this position, I gotta be a Uncle Ruckus type nigga. He was one of those black men that just cried. He would like voice his opinion, but not in a way of like strong black man, like more like weak black man. And he just always pandered to the white people. Always. Like, he was like a kiss ass until they did something to him, and then he wanted everybody to gang up with him. And it's like, no, nigga, like, you a Uncle Ruckus type nigga. You is on your own. We not helping you out. We not like about to come to your defense. You don't want us on your side. Remember, you drew a line in the sand when you wanted to be Uncle Ruckus and snitch on everybody and tell everybody business and make remarks about dumb shit and be negative. So we didn't fuck with Uncle Ruckus. We used to make fun of this nigga. He was just a weird nigga, man. Like, he really wanted to understand the dynamics of young black men. He was really intrigued with us and how we moved. I was a nigga, I had 3 outfits that I would pretty much just rotate through. So for that purpose, period, people will always be interested in me. I never talked. I didn't have a demeanor of like I really cared about if I made money or not. They would actually think that I had money prior to coming there. So they didn't really know much about me. They didn't know my background. They didn't know where I came from. They didn't know what I was trying to do. They didn't know what I usually do. They didn't know nothing about my life. You know what I'm saying? And I liked it to keep it like that. But Uncle Ruckus, he would just try to figure out, and I would just say shit that's like very vague to him, like super broad shit. Like it wouldn't even be like, a direct answer. It would always be something broad. And we just didn't fuck with Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus' arch enemy was this guy who I'm gonna call Debo. Debo's job was when when we would get up from the table, we figured out that the person didn't want to buy what we were selling. He would basically come and, like I said, sell another package to them. That would be the Latitudes package that MC Search would get the tours for whenever they came back in town off the Latitudes package. But Debo would sell Latitudes packages to the people, and he would come to the table afterwards. So Debo, he really like had like a kind of like a tough job, because if we sold a person a shit and they couldn't afford it, but they really wanted it, then it kind of make it bad for him, but also good for him because we've already opened a door for him. And then sometime if you went over the limit of your time, they don't even want to see Debo. And the reason why I call him Debo, because the motherfucker looked just like Debo, but he was one of the sweetest, coolest dudes there. Like he was very personable, went through a lot as a black man, and he was still surviving it. Like he used to be all our dog. Like my cousin and our other homie, he used to be our dog. Like he used to keep it trill with us. Like he used to say the shit that everybody wanted to say, but was afraid to say in front of the authorities. Me, my cousin, and the other homie, we wasn't afraid to say what we wanted to say at all. But it was just certain shit like we didn't engage in, but he would though, because I mean he didn't have the same boss as us. His boss was England, so England determined whether he had a job or not. So he would just tell people shit. So and he actually gave Uncle Ruckus his name, which was pretty funny. Like, and he used to tell Uncle Ruckus shit like, if we wasn't at his job, I'll slap the shit out your Uncle Tom ass. Like he'll look him in his eye like, you a fucking Uncle Tom. You was a bitch ass nigga. You was a Uncle Tom. Like, and like his like the reason I call him Debo, because everything about his demeanor screams Debo. Like everything about his entire demeanor screams Debo. He just was a nigga with a suit on, and dress clothes, rather. Like he was just a Debo type nigga in dress clothes, but we was all cool with him because he understood, you know, young black men. Like like he was a nigga that was from New Orleans. Like he understood how young black men from New Orleans operate. So yeah, Debo would come to the table afterwards. He basically sell the packages, and Debo was real smooth though. You know what I'm saying? Like he had this, and he was like kind of he everything about him said Debo. So if you think about Debo entire aesthetic, everything about him screamed Debo, right? But Debo was a pretty cool dude, man. Debo hated Uncle Ruckus though. He didn't like him at all. Like he was like, fuck Uncle Ruckus. Debo would introduce us to books and shit about selling. Debo would tell us about different hood adventures he done went on and shit. And now that I think about it, now that I'm gone, Debo was the coke dealer. Debo used to supply the coke to Bourbon Street, Oscar, and England. Yeah. Uh-huh. I just thought about that. That just came to my head. Like, yeah, he used to supply the coke for them. He was their coke dealer. Um, Debo got fired because his numbers wasn't looking right. And I remember at a point, England was like, man, I don't have no more medicine. My medicine is gone. Like she would tell us that shit. And like you could kind of see everybody knew her medicine was coke. So Debo was kind of staying away from the place. And she would basically, yeah, be like, my medicine, I can't find my medicine, I need some more medicine. But she needed that cloak, that coat. We know for sure they would do like little bumps in the morning and shit like that. It was like, wow, like before work they probably did like a bump in the office or some shit, or in the bathroom or some shit, and get the, get that white spirit flowing, right? um but outside of Debo, they had another lady, for I can't think of a name to give her. um I'm gonna call her Dreads. uh Dreads, yeah, Dreads. Dreads had the same job as Debo, and she was really nice. I have nothing bad to say about her. She was really nice. She had a fat ass too. That was outside. It was outside the fact that none of that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But Debo was cool. She was alright. She was a good person. Like she was cool. She ain't never crossed the line. We ain't never crossed the line with her. She was a cool person. She come to your table. You know, she used to get the job done. But for a while, it was hard for her to get her job done as well. And before Debo and Dredge came, there was another guy who I'm gonna call Shaggy. Cause he definitely reminded me of Shaggy or Scooby Doo. They are Shaggy, Dreads, and Debo all had the same job. But honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all. Shaggy was a lot better than Dreads and Debo at the job. Shaggy just he had a real cool demeanor. He'd come up to you, he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Yeah. He had the same demeanor as the dude off Half Baked. I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, man? How you doing today, man?" "Yeah, man, everything's fine, man. I swear, man. I'm gonna go downstairs and give me a biscuit, you know. Hey, did you want anything?" You like, nah, he like, "You sure, man? Cause hey, look, got it, man. I can help, you know." And Shaggy will buy weed from Uncle Ruckus. I don't know how they formed that relationship where Shaggy buying Uncle Brian weed from Uncle Ruckus, but once I seen that, it blew my mind. I'm like, I ain't even know Uncle Ruckus sold weed. Uncle Ruckus would smoke weed before he came to work too. He didn't even offer us the joint. And we like, nah, nigga, we ain't smoking that fucking shit that you smoking, man. You probably smoking some weak shit. But yeah, Shaggy got fired. Debo replaced Shaggy. And Bourbon Street used to kind of do the same job as all of them as well. But Bourbon Street just had Bourbon. I don't know. Bourbon Street was getting two checks. Like Bourbon Street, like he was really like uh England's prodigy or some shit. But he didn't work out either. He wound up quitting. Now he thought he was the fucking big man. Like, man, motherfucker, you come from Bourbon Street. Like, you here specifically because of white privilege. Like, you not qualified to even quit. Like, who the fuck are you to quit? Like, so yeah, so they were Bourbon Street, Debo, and Dredge all had the same job. But like I said, Shaggy, he was better at the job than all of them. And they wound up firing Shaggy because his numbers wasn't right too. So they all got up out of there, but they were all different characters within the story, right? So um also they had this girl, she was real cool, man, and wherever she at, I pray she fucking blessed. I pray she you know, experiencing life in abundance right now. Prior to me leaving, she had a serious health issue that she was dealing with, and she wound up coming back and being, good at the job or whatever. So I pray she blessed. But she used to work in the wheel room. She used to give us our tours. Um, she actually started out at the location working for the housekeeping and pretty much moved her way up to working on the corporate side. Cause she would always be up in our area cleaning and shit. But I'm gonna call her loose change. Loose change, wherever you at, if you ever hear this, if you ever come across this, I pray you bless. Loose change kept everybody positive up in there. Loose change would mess with us. She would talk shit to us. She would just really be a fun part of the job. Like we used to look forward to coming there talking to Loose Change. When Loose Change went through her health issue and left, it kind of brought down the spirit of the place, honestly. But Loose Change was a definite good person. She used to keep all us laughing, engaged, upbeat. It was never a dull moment when Loose Change was around. So wherever Loose Change at, shout out to Loose Change. Now Loose Change, when she was working on a housekeeping, she used to work with a girl called La Chat. That's for the sake of this, I'm gonna call her La Chat. Reason why I'm gonna call her La Chat, cause she used to talk a lot. And she just used to talk about a whole bunch of shit. Just shit. Like you could just be sitting there with your headphones on and she gonna just bust out talking. She ain't mean no harm to you. At least in your presence, she ain't mean no harm to you. But she would just talk about shit. And it's like, man, could you please, just be quiet for just a second? Like, just be quiet. And she would just talk a lot, and it just got on my damn nerves at some point. I was just like, man, stop talking to me. Because again, like I told you, I wasn't a person that would talk a lot. If somebody asked me something, I would definitely engage in conversation with them, but I wasn't the person that was just looking and seeking conversation. I really tried to stay to myself. Like I used to have a hideout spot. I used to go chill in like a back stairwell or something. Um, yeah, I used to go I used to go chill in a back stairwell or some shit like that and just stay to myself because I really didn't want to talk to people because the conversations that they would be having, like I don't talk about the murders in the city. I don't talk about fighting. I don't talk about mess. I don't, that's not the conversation I like to engage in. No disrespect to nobody who has that conversation. I just wish they could elevate their conversation to different aspects of, who they are. But outside of that, I don't desire to have those types of conversations. And she would just talk about shit that just didn't matter. So the chat was like, she had a man, right? She actually had like 4 kids and she was like 25, some shit like that. I don't think she was older than I am. So I want to say she's between the ages of 25 and 31. I don't quite remember her age, but she had like 4 to 5 kids and a baby daddy that she basically would tell us like, yeah, I just let him cheat sometimes because he just got to get it out of his system and shit like that. And we'd be like, what? Yeah. But Lil Chat was cool overall. I mean, she ain't did nothing wrong to a nigga. She just used to talk too much for my liking. But, you know, that was the environment. Like it was different moving parts within this environment. Um and I'm kind of looking at my list of names. Sorry. I'm kind of looking at my list of names who I got on here to um tell y'all who different people is. A matter of fact, I tell y'all about this one lady named Green Teeth. She had green teeth. She was like the director or some shit over the site. Like she was like the big manager. But I hated this bitch though. Like, and I know this bitch hated me. Like we had an understanding without saying nothing that we didn't like each other. I just used to do antagonizing shit to her. Like if I walk into what they call a bullpen, well, that's like the office where you go when you're turning in your tour, basically, so you could get the turnover, the TO. I would just walking in there and like just stare at her before I get to anything that I'm doing. I just like stare at her, look her dead in her face, and then just start talking to somebody. And people would be like, "What that's about?" I didn't even say that. I just get to doing what I'm doing. Then like if say she gotta go turn over somebody table, what she hated doing, she sucked at her job. Like she like really, really sucked. I don't even like a lot of the white people that I encountered at timeshare, they were highly unqualified for the job, except for this one white guy. And I'm gonna get to him. But green teeth, she had fucking green teeth. We could tell that she was a serial drinker. She would actually have liquor on her breath when she came to work. She was just like a fucking unqualified white tall uh Diana Taurasi built ass white woman. And she just was like, she just got on my fucking nerves. It was just like, you deserve no place in this working environment because you fucking suck. Like, you fucking suck. Like, you're not a great human being. Like, you're not even like a decent person. Like, so I just would just do shit just to antagonize her. Like, just, it's a way that you can bother white people without even doing them. Just stare at them or something. Or like when she was to leave out, I just like move her papers around or some shit like that. And when she come back, I was like, oh, I was looking for something. She like, why you ain't move the papers back? I like, it slipped my mind, but I need you to go come to my table. And that shit would just bother her. Like, it's like, oh, I hate him. Like, but she never said that shit to me. She used to get on my nerves a lot. Like, she was just like unqualified. And she had green teeth. They're like, how the fuck you got green shit in your teeth? Like, and she had an ugly chin. Like, her shit was real sturdy. Like, it was like it like the back of a tennis shoe. You know, like how like the back of your tennis shoes look? That's how her chin was. And the shit that used to bother me, I just used to want to pluck it sometime and see what had happened. But she just used to get on my nerves as well, and I just couldn't really rock with the one of the next people. I told y'all they had a guy who was actually qualified for this shit. And wherever he at, I pray he blessed, because he was real positive. He was real cool, real smooth, suave type Italian dude. So we gonna call him Lil Italy. Like the nigga who was signed to Master P. That's what we gonna call him, Lil Italy. Like, Lil Italy was the coldest nigga to ever grace the face of this particular place. When Lil Italy left, the sales went down for the entire company. That's how cold Lil Italy was. Lil Italy ain't really fuck with these people either. Like, Lil Italy ain't talk to him. He ain't come in there and come in a break room and have conversations. When Lil Italy ain't had no tour, Lil Italy was out the fucking way. He ain't eat at the job. He ain't go get like no fucking snacks. He ain't like, all he would do is drink a little coffee in the morning and do his shit and go about his motherfucking business. And this was a real suave motherfucker. He didn't work necessarily with me. He worked on the side, like an owner's side. So he would talk to people who already had timeshares with the company. He would just upgrade their points. And this motherfucker, he ain't say the script. Like, he ain't do none of that shit. He would just used to be talking to people, like making them feel good about themselves, just being fly. And what I took from him in a business like this, in a corporate world of selling, is really about how you look and how you articulate yourself. If you look good and you articulate yourself to a high level, people gonna believe you. They're gonna believe that you're a professional. That's just the way the American job system, or just the world period that we live in America, is set up. If you look good and you sound like you know what you're talking about, somebody is gonna believe you, versus if you look good and you talk like a hood nigga. You know what I'm saying? I did fairly good talking like a hood nigga and dressing decent. I did as good as I wanted to do. I didn't really give a fuck about what their standard was. I just had a goal for myself, and all praise to the Most High, I actually got a chance to reach that goal. So I really wasn't concerned about their goals, but Lil Italy used to just smash the goals. Like, he was the goal. Like, he had that bitch on lock. You feel me? He had that bitch on lock. Like, everything he fucking did was legit. Like, he would basically, like, say like you could get a deal, he'll tell you, like, he'll like, how much it's for, man. All right, look at this, how much you gonna make on it. Like, he'll calculate it for you and tell you how much you gonna make on the deal and everything. He was a real good dude, real solid. Real solid. He ain't fuck with the white folks like that either. But he wound up leaving. He told the white folks that he was going to Italy and study and some shit like that. But he was just like, fuck him. He probably hadn't reached the goal, bought some real estate. Actually the last day I saw him, he was on the phone with a real estate agent, I think closing out a property or something like that. So yeah, he stacked up his cheddar and left. It was motherfuckers in there that was making millions of dollars and they was still there. Like they still got a boss. Like, and it showed me too that um white privilege doesn't mean you're fucking smart. Like you could be privileged in a position, but that don't mean you're smart. Like most black people don't even know that they have a whole lot of shit going on positively in their life that white people don't. And the opposite way around too. Like you white people have so much negative shit going on in their life, you wouldn't even imagine the shit that they go through on a daily basis or actually going through in their personal lives. You know, like some people, like one white dude, his wife was cheating on him, living with another guy. He was paying the bills for at the house that him and his wife and the other dude live in. She moved the kids out and everything. He go pick the kid. Like this was still his wife. She was cheating on him, but she moved with another man, and he was basically supporting her. That's the type of shit that white people be having going on. Just a wild world. Like I was introduced to so much. Lil Italy would do bumps too in the morning. Like he used to do the coke too, but he wasn't in more extreme as the other people. Like I catch him in the bathroom in the morning. He was like, "What's up, man?" Just hit him a little bump. That was just they shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't like, damn. I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong with smoking a weed in the morning, but he hitting fucking bumps. See, what I was gonna do though, if it ever nigga ever tried to expose me, I was gonna expose all them niggas. Some of them niggas I got on camera doing bumps. You feel me? Some of them niggas I got on camera doing bumps. I used to do all types of shit to them, and we gonna get into that in part two though. The types of shit I used to do to everybody, all the white people in there and people who was against us, or where they wasn't even just white, Uncle Ruckers. I used to do types of shit to them where they wouldn't know I was the person doing it because I never would say shit. Like I never broadcasted that I was the type of person. They never probably even speculated that I was the person that was doing this type of shit to them. But we gonna get into that in part two. So right now, we're gonna get into the moral of the story. I didn't have anything prepared for the moral of the story, but what I say today's moral of the story is know when it's time for you to distance yourself from people and different situations. Um, when you distance yourself from people, you have to know that it's going to do something to you internally. That's mentally and physically. You're going to start to feel different, think different, and you're going to know when that time comes, when it's time for you to distance yourself. You're going to feel like you've done all you could do for that particular situation or that particular person. Distancing yourself doesn't mean that you bougie or you being fake with a person or nothing like that. You just reached a space of growth where it's time for you to spread your wings and go to a different plateau. you know Everybody can't go. Some people are only for a season, and some things are only for a season. So as individuals, we must um realize that we have to sometimes distance ourselves from different situations. Everybody don't grow the same way. Everybody don't grow the same way. Some people's growth may be faster. Some people growth may be just a little bit slower. And if you don't have time to wait for a person to grow, they can't be mad at that. They can't make you feel guilty because you're not waiting on them. I mean, you could put as much effort in and trying in as much as you want to help this person, make sure they, get just being a good person. But if they don't want it for themselves, then there's nothing you could do. You can't want something for somebody else that they don't want from themselves. And I had to learn that lesson. Um, some people work ethic sucks. In a prior show, we talked about work ethic. Some people don't have no work ethic. Some people are just content where they are. And if you are around them long enough, they will damn near make you feel like you're content. And you could be doing tons of different things. But they'll make you feel like you're content with what you're doing. So gather up the strength, the mindset, and the ability to distance yourself. You may have to distance yourself. That's today's moral of the story. Now we're gonna dive into this random wisdom. Um, I really didn't prepare anything today for random wisdom. But what I could say is right now I'm in my room and I'm just looking around and I'm looking at my New Balance tennis shoes. And I say New Balance has some of the best shoes that I've purchased thus far. Um, New Balance has very comfortable, and for me, affordable shoes that are very stylish. For a while in my life, I used to be like, "You'll never catch me with New Balance on." Now it's damn near like you'll never not catch me with New Balance on. I wear different other shoes like Nikes and shit, but I'm in love with like my New Balance. They're super comfortable. Like New Balance has great fitting shoes, great colors. I love what Soleil he doing. um, Joe Fresh. It's a ton of people that's doing Action Bronson. There's a ton of people doing collabos with New Balance, and they coming out with some good shoes. So my favorite ones are the beef and broccolis. My wife got these for see, told y'all my wife. Uh, my wife got these for Christmas for one year. These are the 993s. Yeah, the 993 beef and broccolis. These are my favorite. These are super comfortable. These are the I made Leon Dor collection. I think I'm saying that right. But these are my favorite. I love these. Um, a lot of people ask me where I got them from. When people see them on my feet, they know they cost a grip and they ain't got them. So this like to me, I'm walking around with like some souvenirs on my feet. But outside of that, man, New Balance are some of the most comfortable shoes that I've ever uh, put on my feet. Um, and I'm super excited about what New Balance got going on. I'm super excited to where they're gonna go in the future with their shoes. Um, and they always got a support out of me, man. So I'm grateful. New Balance, keep on coming with the heat. If y'all want to do some sponsorships and send me some new shoes, that'll be dope. Cause I'm gonna wear them motherfuckers and promote the shit out of them. Cause I'm a fan. So I'm a consumer of y'all goods. So hey, look, New Balance, if you're out there, you're listening, fuck with your boy. You heard? Um, so that's been today's random wisdom, man. That's really all I got. This is part one of the timeshare episode. This shit get even deeper, man. Like I just told y'all some of the, just the basics of what I seen in the timeshare world. But we are gonna do a part two. Either the next episode would be part two, or we gonna wait a couple episodes and then do a part two. But yeah, if we could do like a 5-part series on this, man, because it's so much shit I experienced within like 10 months of me working in the timeshare world. So um I'm grateful y'all, came out to listen today. You press play on this shit. I appreciate it. Like I say every show, if you're just waking up, I hope you have a great day. Um, if you're just ending your day and you decide to hear my voice, man, I pray you had a good day. I hope God gives you whatever you pray for. I hope any blessing that you've been asking for, I hope you get it right now at this specific moment. I hope you get it today. And I hope you live a blessed and peaceful life and keep tuning into Random Wisdom. I'm your host, Ashton, and fuck it. I'm out.